I can kind of see this. I suppose when we think back to TSM, we've seen them probably more on the Miramar games. There's a certain, like a ball ditch area. I can't remember. I think it's kind of close to El Pozo. We've seen them several times where a team's been pitched up on there, and they've pulled up and they've removed that obstacle and taken control of it. So they are a team that's not, at least anymore, scared to get involved in a fight and take a fight if they have to. The question is, though, are other teams going to be doing the same on this one? Because now everyone's starting to get a feel for it, get used to it, get more confident in themselves. It's time to push up or push out, unfortunately, as Game 14 will be going live. And as you can see on screen, we're back to the sandy shores of Miramar.
And it's forcing the players down south. That is a pretty deep plane overall. You're looking at the Pozo drop for the Winstrike guys and Monte Nuevo, but San Martin's going to start being as far afield as really some of these teams are going to be going. I'm thinking of the Jokers. They're going to be having to adjust. They go up to La Cabrera. We have seen a couple of teams adjusting to plane paths throughout Miramar. Obviously, we've seen a couple of Campo Militar and Tierra Bronca, but now we're going to be looking at maybe Na'Vi going back down to Impala. The Jokers, are they going to adjust and go back down to Puerto Paraíso? No, Na'Vi are going to be forced down to Paraíso, and Jokers will go into Impala. So there's the adjustments already made. Everybody else kind of happy with their positions, I feel.
Shouldn't be too difficult for rosters here to get a decent amount. Oh, ENCE might have a bit of a problem. He's over and away from the rest of FaZe. He's awake and live and kicking, though, so he'll be pulling himself back in there. Get his feet down on the ground and get a vehicle and try and rotate and meet up with the rest of FaZe later on in the late game. NIP are actually potentially getting shot out of the sky here. Circle, okay, I like this. It's up in the north. It's polar opposite to where the flight path was. The circle doesn't even come close to the flight path, to be honest with you, which leaves,
it touches,
you know,
it touches it.
We've got Torre Armada, we've got Tierra Bronca, Cruz de Val. You've got all these cities in the northern region beyond the wall completely open. I'd expect some early heavy rotations here, to be honest with you. I think a lot of teams could pretty much run that entire west coast and just hit the northern edge of the circle and have a field day, to be honest with you. Especially if you look through Cobarilla, no one's there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where the Jokers would go, but the plane path didn't allow it. So we're going to see a very clean, easy rotation for, say, Winstrike, who at the moment a 3-in-1 vehicle. Hello. Oh, he caught him. Fast rail. Oh, well, he just had a blinding game, but he's been caught there. Now, can Rory finish him off? I think he might be a little worried that Wanted has a weapon. Going to get the revive off here, stuck behind the tree, so just through the tiniest of gaps, he could fit the car through there. I wasn't sure whether the car could fit, but that was beautiful driving. Rory committed to this one. He's coming round again.
He just need. Oh, okay. He's like, no, time to go. They've got a gun. Oh God, time to run. The defense is here. The bodyguards, a couple of magical pull up, and it's not a problem, boys. I've got you covered. Don't worry.
It delays them, though. It delays their looting, doesn't it? They want to continue north.
For TSM, gives them the information, more importantly. If they can set up some sort of a trap, maybe wondering where they are, or if someone else turns up with a gun, it's a field day.
Michael was coming. Michael was coming down with a gun. He's just come blasting down, but they've got out of there. Ooh, okay, so they're going to drop one off here. Michael is just down to the south, but they should be safe now. It should be back to the looting path. Of course, you know, this area that we're looking at right now, that is center circle. So, you know, it actually will be territory that if they don't get on with it, they're going to have teams rotating on top of them within the next couple of minutes.
All calm on the western front for now. Obviously, we still have to keep an eye on what you did just see on your screen where it was TSM, raise your edge, poking and prodding at one another. I mean, look at Michael Hell. He doesn't even have any armor. He wants to see if we can get an early pick of this early engagement. Obviously, he doesn't realise that Fast Rail's rocking a 16 and wants is going to SKS, so they have range of themselves. Oh, I didn't realise this.
Yeah, they've surrounded him.
Okay, only budget
but
gear
they've got to be careful.
Ones,
look, Team Liquid are rotating. This is what I was talking about. If they're not getting on with it, they're going to have teams on them. The plane path was perfect for Picardo. Just a little short drop and they're straight in there. And Team Liquid are actually rotating through the middle of TSM and Rai right now.
Liquid rotates in such a fast fashion. It's unreal. They're almost center circle. I'm already seeing a couple of shots on the map feed from actually Liquid.
There's Vitality also getting involved because they're obviously in
they're
and around
all
Hacienda.
early rotators. This is the problem. You'll always get these guys that like to just get off and get central.
Oh, James
Here we go. This is the fight you were speaking about, Lee. They're about to hit one another.
Yeah, Shadow's come in. I don't think he's expecting it. Now he will. He sees a vehicle coming by, which is actually trying to pre-nade Nasus here, trying to preempt what's going on. But yeah, Teams is already in position, flushes Shadow as well, as quick as you like. That is confirming a point. He might even peek around to Nasus. Nasus is peeking the other side. Rory is starting to get involved from TSM as well, hearing the shots in the distance. He wants to look at what's going on. These are some big teams clashing early on.
Up close and personal with a barrel. Teams will welcome any kind of push that does come forward. Obviously, the information has been given, and the grenades as well will also continue that to tell Teams that there are still players lingering here. They've already lost one through this engagement. They don't really necessarily need to lose more. Nades up and over his cop for him. This could be the drill. The hammer comes down. He's trying to cross the road. The bullet's in the back. I think he'll get away with this one.
Yep. He's safe, but TSM are engaging Monkey and Jazza just over the road. So as soon as they come over, you can see Gustav's in the fields. So Vitality still struggling to find themselves a safe spot right now.
Why does Wookie constantly have just a big boy gun in his hand? He's up on the hill with an M24. It's
written in his contract that PUBG Corp have to supply an M24 of some variety.
Thanks, TSM. Every single time. And he's one of those guys that kind of reminds me a little bit of like Samty, that will hit the world at the right time. Wanderer, certainly living up to his name, in the middle of nowhere, wandering off, looking for a better position. CrowCrowd are going to be doing the same. This is a team that I think is and might struggle through some of the bigger names now they're here in the Pro League. They're playing with the big boys. And
yeah, they've had that one good game, right? They had that one good performance, which was on Miramar, which has actually sort of protected their points for a while, but they're still lingering on the edge. Meanwhile, Michael, who had an absolute smasher of a game. Wow, really, Wookie, you try and steal that away. Really? Really? Michael, by the way,
game lead.
Was the top kill leader. I don't know if he still is. He's definitely up there. I was trying to think who was up there now at the moment, but obviously had an absolute smashing first game.
I think it's still
He was definitely at 18, 19, so Brexico might be up there now.
Yeah, I know the G2 boys have got 2 involved there. We also have one of the guys from Vitality was actually in there. Natus, I still think, is still up there.
Yeah, and speaking of Vitality, obviously we were just looking at them right there. You know, we were talking about the damage dealers. We were focusing on it during the break. You know, 2 of those guys up there, Jazza and Monkey, have been doing smashing some amounts of damage. I think they were like 3rd or 4th in damage dealing as well. Obviously, we know that Chris and Brexico have been doing massive damage for G2, but they have been doing some serious work for Vitality. Sadovnik, I mean, if you were a police card in the chase, that's the right maneuver. But when you're trying to drive parallel with your teammate, that is not how it should work.
It's just a love tap. It's fine. That's all it is. Quick high five in the vehicles. Mert continues on, 50% HP. Just get the hell off the main road, my friend. Because as you do follow this one through, and the back tyre has been cracked, but
this is the West Coast rotation. Digital Athletics, Red Diamonds, just north of Monte Nuevo, and they are going to catch him, so Sixmo will go down. Digital Athletics had a pretty good start today. The first 2 games certainly worked out well for them. Red Diamonds going to be wanting to try and get something. They're a little aggrieved in that last matchup. Meanwhile, towards the center of Waterworks, water treatment, the Knights pulling up there. Remember, Vitality had a great game in and around this area yesterday. They have NIP just below them.
But as soon as that comes through, like, the shots just came their way instantly. So they've now repositioned to the backside. Voxic hides the vehicle. He does have the Kar 98. Might be able to get an entry pick here, which will be able to force them inside the water treatment and clear out NIP. Vado is on the back foot as well. He might reposition to get a better view on the Knights as they are in there. ENCE have got a battle of themselves.
If Na'Vi don't pull up, Na'Vi are not pulling up. This is not good. Batulin, well, at least he's far enough ahead that the rest of the team will get the information, because he's driving straight between G2, who are actually mid-exchanging guns fight with Vitality. He heard the fire, but he's going straight into Chris and Kane on the hillside. Kramer gets MBS. Meanwhile, that was the battle we were looking at the side. If Batulin gets away with this would be amazing. Just managing to, by hook or by crook, he heard G2 firing onto Vitality, will get caught down in the end, and Batulin eats the dust. And Na'Vi down to 3, and Jokers are moving on them as well on the hillside. Now the circle shifts. It will center up towards MBS's body, just to the side of him. He's going to get back revived. Raise Your Edge actually in a pretty good spot right now if they move quick enough from Chris Doval.
Yeah, MBS were trying to get an off angle onto the Knights to kind of hold them back in that water treatment plant, but
the
Kar 98 did its job. and now the Knights can push forward. NIP are now split, unfortunately, and they're going to have to look for new ground. They're kind of broken up a little bit. That one knock has done so much damage to their setup that they were going for. The Knights can extend themselves further into that water treatment plant and hold it. Na'Vi have set up on the east coast. They might look towards Cruz de Val, but Fast Rail +1 is lingering around there. Let's have a look at this central circle to see who's kicking. We've got M19. Shouldn't really see too much from them unless CrowCrowd do hit them over the road. Vitality, Liquid, quite a few teams all lingering around that same spot within about 200 yards of one another.
Yeah, Liquid have been left in this tough spot. They are basically now edge team because of the way the circle's gone. They were kind of close to center because that crossroads was the center point, but it's no longer because it was I wouldn't say a hard shift, but it did go north. And actually, NIP's 2-2 split has paid dividends because they now have the dead center compound, which is obviously what everyone's looking for. TSM have just consolidated. Michael's kind of been left on his own, and he's got to get moving. But CrowCrowd, they're coming in late, so no surprises. They're going to have to play edge. Looking towards the northern side, you have Winstrike and FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan out on the hillside as we see a crate dropping down. That's kind of a central road crate. I don't know whether TSM are going to try and risk it. Don't think they would. They've already passed over. Maybe Gustav and Michael will collect it. They're about to make the move.
It's out in the open. It might be too much bait, to be honest with you. I suppose it is within reaching distance if you've got the smokes, but
Team Liquid are going for it. I think they're going to domino behind TSM. TSM move out. I think TL are going to move in. Yes, they will. So they've just sort of traded compounds and got themselves in a... oh, nice driving, Samty. Just creeps it in there.
He's done that before.
Yeah.
I mean, it keeps him safe, right? All 4 vehicles will be out line of sight. The snipers at distance.
Something I've not seen too much of, and then there has been a few.
What an upgrade from a level 1.
I've not seen too many knocks of people jumping out cars too soon. Or running over each other.
Well,
I've
there
not
is
seen that. I gotta hope it's a part of the lane climb. That's what's causing it. But who knows? Who knows? But TSM, yeah, they're going to be happy. And as you mentioned, big upgrade for Rory there.
It even doesn't really matter what's ever in those crates because, you know, the level 3s are so vital and so important. Especially with the helmets, you can only get them out of there. And again, that's the only thing that's really going to survive a sniper rifle at range. FaZe, pretty decent layout for them. All 4 players are now regrouped. Obviously, ENCE at the start of the game, and they're playing last, but he's back with FaZe as the northern edge of the circle. We'll see where the next one does go because it might dictate the migration. If it goes centrally, it won't be too hard. There'll be a little bit of a staggered... A few teams like ENCE, for example, maybe the Jokers that might have difficulty.
Centers, like it.
Yeah, okay, so this keeps the main head of the pack, but this is now where we get the difficult fights on the edge. No one's really going to flush center because there really isn't that many places to go. And if you do, you're going to get smacked by NIP, G2, or TSM. All these teams, FaZe are in a tricky position. Red Diamonds are directly behind them.
Are they going to try and swing around north? I know Red Diamonds absolutely will swing around north. I think
Red
FaZe are
Diamonds
looking
one of those
to do the
teams
same.
that'll happily like skirt blue until the very last minute.
Yeah, FaZe are going to swing around and maybe come in the other side. They realize obviously Winstrike were ahead of them. Looking at NIP right here, they're kind of trying and consolidate. They were in a 2-2 split, so they're just getting themselves into that perfect central compound they held. ENCE are trying to launch it into the compounds on the hill here that G2 have just left free for them. Jokers were a little too slow on reacting to that one, so they're not going to be able to get in there. CrowCrowd still just on the edge, the borderline of this circle, along with Jazza and Nasus kind of in that 2 split positions because they are the solo players left for Vitality. Not really solo players, they're playing solo is what I mean. FaZe, you can see, off in the distance, Red Diamonds. They wanted to go for that northern swing, but FaZe have beat them to it.
Couldn't have gone any better for ENCE as they moved into a position that a team moved out of. A drop pretty much came in the same location, so they've got a decent...
looking for it, though.
He is. He's having a wander. FaZe, obviously, they don't have much to play with, so they're going to try and use a ridge line and play the outer extremities. It looks like Senya's actually been copped, so this might put an end to this one. Another 249. 8-time scope. I'm sure I'll be calling out for somebody, although he does have an SKS on the back. He's got the better ghillie suit, obviously. In the sandy colour, we're able to match up against it, but the level 3 is the most vital and important point. D-Mash, see if you can find any kind of scam. You don't really have to take that engagement if you don't want to.
This is risky from TSM. They're still holding a 2-2 split either side of the road. Now, if, say, M19 or Digital Athletics send it in numbers, it could really catch them off guard. But at the moment, they're not risking it. But it's Gustav and Michael there on the south side of the road, watching what's going on down the south.
So you have to kind of weigh that one up, I suppose. From TSM, if they are going to 2-2 split for any team, for example, you have to be aware that that possibility of a fight is always there. And being able to look beyond what's happening now and what's coming next, being able to get the long range, just even warning shots to keep people at bay, or you've got to be expected and good enough to take a fight. If it doesn't
or
go...
evacuate fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if that all goes tits up, you've still got this backup plan, this emergency system where they can just chill. I mean, it kind of happened for Na'Vi in the last one, right?
Yeah,
they had one guy in the compound, they had sent one guy center, so always having that backup plan. Yes, it's good, but if you get hit by a 4-man stack, it's terrible because you're going to get demolished.
Jazza still dashing around solo. Don't know if he's got a vehicle down there, be able to get out of it if the circle pulls away from him, which it almost certainly will. It's not too bad for him, though. TSM now, where do they go? Do you go north or do you keep that south compound? It's a choice they're going to have to make, and it looks like they want to try and keep a 2-2. That's a big compound on the south to hold. M19 moving towards the hay bale shacks at the moment. That's where Wanderers just moved to. You saw him going, but it's all these northern teams. Where will they find a home? The Knights, Red Diamonds, Winstrike, Raise Your Edge, FaZe Clan, Na'Vi, Jokers, all going to make this move. That's a lot of teams to try and sandwich in towards that top spot.
I think this is where FaZe Clan die, and I also think this is where Digital Athletics die as well. FaZe Clan don't really have a good point of entry. Winstrike might be able to take that ridge line, actually hold back the Knights. Red Diamonds also might be able to be held back. Digital Athletics at the moment are just in no man's land wandering around. Oh, FaZe, they've been called out. Na'Vi have seen them. Here comes the big push. We're looking all the way across the map. FaZe are getting tanked up at the back. Winstrike also trying to do the same. And at the moment, it's a land grab. Get somewhere on the floor, get anything. Na'Vi are holding on to this, but they're not inside the circle. FaZe are in front of them. So they now know that they have to come their way. Meanwhile, Liquid's getting pushed by 2 different teams.
Yeah,
this could be devastating.
CrowCrowd coming blasting in there. Jeems tries to pop off on them. M19 also making the move onto this same compound. Winstrike have kind of drove nearby as well. Outplays will get down while this is happening. All the battle in the north as well.
Another
you can see
team
the kill feed getting lit up there as Uber goes down. Raise Your Edge getting himself involved. Red Diamonds also trying to send it towards the middle in between TSM as well. But CrowCrowd have successfully got 2 members in on TSM. Now we're back to this other side where Red Diamonds were trying to get behind them, but they're getting third-partied by TSM.
This is good. This is good. Again, look, Red Diamonds, they tried to make an approach onto TSM, but the 2-2 split actually worked because you had the off angle of Wookie and Co being able to defend Gustav on the opposing side. The problem is now is that one of the players at TSM's actually down. Fuzz, this not like this. He's doing whatever he can do before he gets hit. And unfortunately for FaZe Clan, it was just...
It's just 80 alive for them. That's all that was left.
Too far.
Again, it's the rotations that are kicking them as FaZe Clan go down in 16th place again. 2 games back to back. That is a wake-up call, I feel. Definitely not going well. Raise Your Edge, a team that have absolutely started to step it up. 4 kills and counting once again. Definitely working for them. These last 2 games have been a massive confidence boost. Back over to this battle. Team Liquid, they're getting pushed from every angle. And Jempty now the last man standing as M19 and CrowCrowd sandwich them.
CrowCrowd hit one side of the compound. A knock came through from M19 on the opposing side. And 2 teams just crushed, unfortunately.
Who's shooting them from the side? Oh, it's Nasus. It's Nasus, isn't it?
That nade's inside, I believe. It might be... Oh, it just banked off. They know where he is.
No, not quite. A little bit more, a little bit more. Go on, give it some arm. Oh, just off the edge.
Could have been in a montage. Top highlights of today, but Jempty will stay alive for now, and everything that Liquid had going for them has been completely obliterated. This is what I mentioned about the Knights earlier on. They had the knock that came through and they push into the compound. They've removed TSM, but the backup plan...
We should talk about TSM, actually. We were talking about the 2-2 they stuck with. They lost 2.
Yep.
Because the Knights, they stayed too long. The Knights came down the hillside and took them out while that was all happening. They do still hold the southern compound, but the circle, it moves away from this compound we're looking at. It's going to go towards the north, and it's the compound the Knights just wrestled from TSM.
Look at those real-time standings. Liquid have absolutely flown up the rankings off the back of a win.
But look how close it is, though. I mean, 9th place is just 5 points off them. So it's
mental, isn't it?
It's really close up to 3rd.
I mean, 87 points for FaZe Clan, and they've had 3 16th finishes.
Yeah.
Like, how mad's that?
A lot of kills involved. ENCE are trying to reposition. I feel they're now not in a happy spot. Gaxi caught out. Ratio Edge are continuing, while they've only got, what, 2-3 alive, to collect a couple of kills up in the side here. NIP have to make the move. This is the compound that we do keep our eye on, you can see, and they all need to move. They're all on the far edge of the circle as well. We should mention Nasus, please. He's sneaking around the backside of ENCE at the moment. He's trying to be out of one. Gemty, finally the nade finds him. And now it's CrowCrowd, who only have the 2 standing against M19, who are looking to have a good performance of their own.
The PUBG curse continues. Win a game, and they get battered in the next. M19 now need to go head-to-head with CrowCrowd. They're directly in front of them. Raise your edge and lucky for 13 number. They're out, they're gone.
They had good kills, though, so they definitely collected a fair few points from that one. But it is a low placement. They were unlucky. They tried to make the move, and they kind of got sandwiched between NIP and G2. G2, a team that actually has a pretty quiet day today so far, so we'll see how that performs. CrowCrowd, how have they managed to make this run so far? I was going to say it's a miracle they've got this far, but now I think Dream for You is in all sorts of trouble. Who will get it? It's ENCE. They collect themselves another kill from the hills. Look at Nasus. I was talking about this earlier. He was sneaking up behind him. Now he's going to go for it. Tops on Squeaky. Can he confirm the kill? Oh, he got it. Did he?
No,
Did he? No, not quite.
No. They'll get the revival for that one. Hence the patient team.
G2 and NIP up on the hillside, up in the north here, engaging with one another. Meanwhile, M19 picking on Digital Athletics as they try and make the move. ENCE coming up behind Digital Athletics right there in that ditch. That is a nasty ditch. They can just roll some nades down on top of them.
Rustaman's actually going for it, so this could be interesting. He's punching forward with the vehicle, which will get them even more arm's length into the circle, get an eye line where Digital Athletics is, and they might just be able to continue the kills. Wookie Bookie, what else would he have? An M24, bangs it in the back of Not's head. He's down. He's not dead yet, but he's looking for more. It's silenced as well, and he's all level 3'd up, so he'll be able to do some serious damage here on the playing field, but there is only 2 of them alive.
Oh, Rustamar down, double nade on him, but ENCE coming around the side of them now. Mikaz gets Mert down quickly, beautiful death and Iro just ahead of him. And a quick nade, yeah, they're realizing the danger. They're going to try and back out of it, but that's maybe a risky move for them as they try and blast into the next circle straight onto Teamy.
He's taking vehicles, he's taking tires. Ira might be able to stay alive only just, but again, where do you really go?
Hit the dirt, TSM's on ya, gets himself safe.
Might get him. If that vehicle goes, it might be able to get him. I mean, they kind of made it work with what they had when we look towards, oh, actually, it's a different team. So Winstrike are actually out of this one.
NIP get them down. TSM still their compound just inside the zone. Pittsburgh Knights, who made this great move, get themselves in that circle. Chris is sending it for G2. He's going to find himself on those little hay bale buildings, and he's going to get in there safely. ENCE also gets around there, so Squeaky flushing M19's position out. Enot and Wanderer blasting. They're going straight towards Iro. They want to make the push. Iro gets down. 1 hit point. Oh, I can't quite do it. Will in the end get finished off, but the third party is coming in, and Constantine with nothing left. Luckily, the car rolling away from him.
And still doing damage. You saw 10 kills pop. That's 10 points in the bag, guaranteed for them, plus the placement, and they're into the top 7. NIP having a bit of a disaster over here as the one last man standing for Red Diamonds. That'll be Bestalok. He's causing them all kinds of problems. More importantly, he's slowing them down. Any advancement into this circle, he might even be able to shut the whole team down if they're not too careful.
Managed to finish him off. NBS, I think, is the man that's trying to flank around. He will go down. It's Wookie in the end that gets the M24
He's having
shot.
a field day.
All right, okay. Saves NIP. Well, that works for him.
And now Gustav's back on it as well. So they must have a fair amount. I mean, they've got the SKS and the 24, so they're going to have the scopes to play it. They've been playing a range game at the moment. It's causing all kinds of problems.
G2 pushing for it. That's a risky play, but he manages to pay off somehow. I don't really know how, but Mikaz will go down, and G2 managed to get themselves in safely on top of them. ENCE, though, managing to get some return kills. Kane and Brexico down, and the Knights, they're still sitting so comfortably. Still just the 3 alive, but they have NIP coming in their backs.
So we might see a bit of a pause for now. You can still hear that silence 24 from Wookie trying to do some more damage.
Chris made it over to G2. He's actually going to get Brexico and Kane back on their feet, I think.
Oh no, he got finished.
No, yeah, Brexico got finished. He needs to get Kane. He's trying to get the smokes down. Oh, Squeaky found the headshot.
I'm going to say it's an interesting play to be able to do that because that's so open at the moment. All of a sudden, Squeaky comes out and throws a complete spanner in the works here for G2. It's a risky play. Should have stayed where he was and just let him go. I mean, fair play to try and keep men alive in this circle, but unfortunately, that play has not paid off whatsoever.
Oh, but Udyr's going to have to run for it. He's got to get over there now because that's another circle, but Squeaky's got a problem. He's going to get himself moving. The Knights finally need to leave the safety of their compound with NIP on their backs. They have to deal with NIP before they go, and that's not going to work when Wookie gets another belter onto VOXIC.
Still causing problems. And again, that's what I mentioned. If he can get a pick onto the Knights, it slows them down. And if they're slowed down, they might get hit in the back by NIP. But NIP have got problems of their own. G2, it's only a one-man band over here for Udyr, causing him grief with the 6 times in the minute as soon as they now get a walk in.
Look at their health. They've got absolutely nothing. Vard and Gaxi both on what, below 10 hit points.
Oh, Drayden got pushed back. That's a big nade there to knock Drayden back and stop any advancement. That could have been really, really bad.
Udyr goes down. That's 5th place for G2. As TSM make their move, come out of the shack, and they're quite safe. ENCE's trying to go for it as well as Squeaky tries to move into that compound. He's just cleared G2 out of. VOXIC will bleed out, so that's going to be another frag for Wookie Bookie. And TSM at the moment, they're looking for blood while NRP and Pittsburgh Knights fight it out in the hills.
It was a big nade to come out to be able to push Drayden back, so he was pushing up to really get aggressive and stop any advancement for NIP, but allowing him up to this compound forces the Knights into an engagement where they have to come out the buildings and just face the wrath of the ninjas who are waiting with open arms. MBS, up and over we go. That's a nade down, the level 3 gone. Reels removed from the server. He does, but because they're all damaged up, they're lacking gear, they're lacking the utility.
Look how quick he's bleeding out.
Dude, their economy is completely shot.
He's bleeding out so fast, and Gustav will finish it off. There's nothing he can do. They've been down so many times, and TSM are looking absolutely in prime position right now as they try and force them down. The nade comes out. NIP will finish the Knights. They'll go down in 4th place. Looking like it may well be all they get, though, as 3rd place looks to be confirmed for NIP. Vard makes his way down the hillside. Squeaky and Vard, the 2 solos, while Gustav and Wookie, the Danish duo from TSM, who've been together so long, are looking to pick up another chicken dinner for TSM. What an aid!
The Deadly Danes doing it at range. M24 in a mini.
And
Fish in a
said,
barrel, kind of.
He said, I love this map. I love this map.
I mean, it's freedom, right? He's a marksman. Miramar allows marksmen to come alive. There's so much open ground, and there's so much, you know, topology on the map when you look at it. You get any kind of leverage, you're in for a winner.
Well, I think TSM were involved in that very early action. They were chasing down Raise Your Edge in the vehicle, trying to finish them off. They didn't really have a long time to loot. Gifted, of course, the crate that Wookie is absolutely making use of, trying to find Squeaky in the distance. By the way, let's not write Squeaky off. He is an absolute machine as well. As Vard in the distance there. Totally possible that TSM could lose one of the down because they are being very active. Squeaky trying to smoke it out. You see Vard catching the head of Squeaky there from that with that mini. And they know this is really a battle for 2nd place between the two, unless they can take a big 2v1 fight.
They also know there's 2 free points here for TSM. If they can find both these individual players.
Squeaky going.
It's a very easy game. They've got him backed into a corner. They'd only take Vard. I can imagine Vard won't be able to take 2 players individually just because of how much. In theory, he should have no gear at all. I mean, Nip was smashed to bits earlier on.
Trying to use that track to the nade. Finds Vard. Gustav. Big damage. 1 hit point for Vard there. All he's got left is bandages. He's only got bandages left to try and heal himself up. Wookie sees Squeaky. Doesn't land the shot with that 6-time Vard. He's only got a couple of, I think so, about 7, maybe 5 bandages tops left. No helmet, next to nothing in terms of economy left for him. As Wookie and Gustav, that nade's done him. Oh, and Gustav will finish it off. So TSM collect another. 12 kills and counting though for ENCE. So another big score from the Finns. They've just been going about the business quietly.
Squeaky not going down without a fight. He's got an SKS and a 6-time, so he might be able to do some damage to himself.
He's got 8 first aids as well, so he can take the fight on.
The problem is Wookie having the level 3 helmet. That's the main issue. And then Gustav having an off angle. Pins him into a corner. You can see Wookie. Nade's going up, over. It'll roll in. Will it do the job? Yes,
Yes,
it
it
will.
will.
GG. TSM. The deadly